Yep, if I looked over to my right and Aubrey Plaza was just out there looking that good, I'd have that exact same look on my face. Oh, welcome back to the MCU, Billy Maximoff. This was a this was a bittersweet. I can't even speak. This was a bittersweet episode because while the revelation that our boy Teen is Wiccan is fantastic, and I love the fact that he has a crown just like his mama. I wasn't ready to lose Alice. I think Alice was the one witch in this coven that was legitimately like she had fully grown on me. Everybody else is still kind of growing on me, but she was the one that I, in all honesty, liked the most because she was the most down to earth and she was finally able to beat her generational demons by killing the demon that's basically been killing her mother and her grandmother in perpetuity for however long. And it was so dope seeing her powers be exorcism based because she basically excised her demons last episode. So she was able to do the exact same for Agatha's mother this episode. But then Agatha's whole power draining thing, man. Like, I really need to know whether or not she was being truthful about the fact that she couldn't control her powers in that moment because I feel as though she's been lying like out her ass this entire season. Agatha has been lying, but there really does seem as though there was a level of remorse where she was absorbing the powers, then she hears her son's voice, and her son's voice kind of snaps her out of the euphoria of absorbing that energy, and there's a look of almost shame on her face as she's leaving the witch's trial, and she goes crawling up the steps and she looks back to basically see what she's done. And then by the time everybody else is caught up to her, she's basically put that armor around herself again. It was like, and scene, back to stone face, back to basically hiding my insecurities and my emotions through basically being mean and sarcasm. And then we get the fantastic reveal that the teen is actually Billy Maximoff, and he's been basically pretending to be an idiot the entire time he's been with them because he has his own goals. And we're gonna make a separate video about his goals because I don't want this video right here to run too long. This was another really fantastic episode. I think this episode really leaned more into a little bit of Evil Dead mixed with a little bit of Poltergeist, and it really does open up this can of worms where we have three situations that I really hope we get to explore. Number one, we really need to explore what exactly happened with Agatha and that coven. I have a feeling that the decision that the coven made was to sacrifice one of their children to get the Darkhold. It was a group decision. However, the group did not clue Agatha in to the fact that what she had to sacrifice to get the Darkhold would have been her own child. And once it had already occurred, Agatha tried to renege and probably get Nicholas Scratch back. It did not work, and the coven basically decided to kill Agatha. And that is where we basically see Agatha basically kill the entirety of the coven. And I sorry, losing my voice. I think the only reason why she left the children alive is because it was a bridge too far. She had just lost her kid, and she didn't want to go down that route of having to kill children to basically avenge the loss of her own child. So she let them live. And I want to say another dark force has essentially snatched them up and is using them for its own malicious purposes. But there's also the situation of her mother, where her mother basically says, "Oh, you were evil from the beginning." And a part of me was kind of like, yeah, but kids aren't evil when they're born. Like babies aren't evil. Like that type of hatred and darkness has to be taught. It has to be It has to be hammered into a child through shitty upbringing. So I kind of feel as though Agatha's mother attacking her is another part of the trauma that she's basically walled herself off from. And there's so much trauma. Being betrayed by her coven, losing her child, mother attempting to kill you, losing your powers to Wanda, going through these trials on the Witch's Road, whatever happened between her and Rio Vidal, Aubrey Plaza's character back in the day. So many things all happening in regards to Agatha, and I feel as though every single time one of these canon events happens to her, she just puts up a wall and another wall and another wall without ever actually turning around and facing any of the trauma that she goes through. Like she almost seemed as though she was a scared child when the coven was like, yeah, no, we should just leave her ass right here. And she was terrified of the prospect of being like left with her mother, because I feel as though there was some level of abuse. Like, you know, as a child going through childhood, imagine if your parent was constantly calling you evil or a monster or a demon, or she should have killed you when you were born. It affects you mentally, psychologically. It affects you in some way. And I think that Nicholas, her son, was the first good thing that ever happened to her. And then instantaneously, when she had him, she instantly lost him. And then she basically had a crash out and she just spiraled from there. But this episode was great. I love the witches when they made their brooms and they were flying, and they were talking about how like the whole witches brooms things were kind of been turned into a meme by present day society. I like the fact that in order for a witch to get a broom, she has to do a dance with, or he has to do a dance with another witch, and then that witch presents you their broom, kind of like gifts. And I like that even though it wasn't meant to match everyone's personality, the broom swap between Jennifer and Lilia really did end up matching their personality, where her broom was like old and decrepit and she's like, you could have done better, and then Jennifer's broom had the blue flowers that were glowing on top. That was great. Absolutely love it. I love this episode. Agatha All Along continues to surprise me. It continues to entertain me because it's really, really, really good. And I think people who watch it and give it a chance will, in all honesty, fucking enjoy it. But let me know what you think about this episode of Agatha. Comment down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.